The wind whispered low across the vast savannas, a sweeping expanse of golden grass rolling beneath a cloudless sky. A small band of early Homo sapiens trudged across the plain, their bare feet hardened by endless movement.
We'll approach
Each
from the
figure,
east.
cloaked
Use
in
the wind
furs
to our
crudely
advantage.
sewn
They
together
won't
from the
see us
hides of
coming.
gazelle, moved with purpose. They carried long spears tipped with sharpened stone, tools of survival in a world that showed no mercy. Among them walked Ruin, a broad-shouldered man of 30 summers. His beard was patchy, streaked with mud and old blood, and his eyes were keen as a hawk's. He was the leader, not by declaration but by deed. When others starved, he hunted. When others fell to wounds, he tended. Now, as the sun blazed high above, his attention turned to the hilltop ahead. Behind it, prey waited. Food, life. The group ascended slowly. Beside Ruin walked Kira, his mate and the sharpest tracker in the tribe. She pointed wordlessly to the trampled grass. Broad, deep impressions. Mammoths. Not one, but two. They passed here not long ago, she said. Her voice was low but sure. A mother and her calf. Ruin nodded. Behind them, the rest of the tribe approached. Jakku, the old spearmaster. Ira and Dina, sisters quick with blade and stone. Young Tobu, the healer's apprentice. The youngest among them was still older than 20. There were no children here, only hunters, survivors. From the hilltop, they saw them. The massive, woolly mammoth, her great tusks curved like scythes, lumbering slowly across the meadow. Her calf trailed close, smaller but still formidable, its trunk swaying as it stepped. A silent pause rippled through the group. They knew what this meant. Meat for weeks, bones for tools, hide for shelter. But also danger, death. We must separate them, Ruin said, scanning the terrain. We'll drive them toward the ravine. It narrows. They can't escape both sides. The plan was simple and brutal. As the sun sank toward the western rim of the world, the hunt began. The tribe fanned out across the field, their feet stirring dust. Grass snapped underfoot. Ruin led one flank, Kira the other. Tobu was tasked with noise, stones and cries to drive the beasts. They surged forward like wolves on the prowl. The mammoths noticed. The mother turned first, her ears flaring, trunk curling with anxiety. She snorted loudly and began to move, but not fast. Mammoths didn't run until they had to. Behind her, the calf stumbled and struggled to keep pace. That was their chance. Now, Ruin shouted. The group charged. The earth shook as the mammoths bolted. Grass flew in their wake. Dust clouds rose behind them. The chase was on. From above, the scene was chaos, a dance of ancient power and desperation. The humans, nimble and determined, closed the distance. The mother mammoth trumpeted, ears flapping wildly as she tried to shield her calf. She swung her tusks and narrowly missed Jakku. The calf tripped, fell. In a blur, the mother stopped and turned, standing tall before the hunters, protecting her young. The first spear flew, then another. The battle was vicious. The mother thrashed, striking Ruin and sending him sprawling across the grass. Blood seeped from his forehead, but he rose again, flinging his spear with all his strength. It struck flesh. A cry of agony tore through the air. One hunter was hurled into the sky by a tusk and landed with a sickening crack. Dina screamed, but did not run. She threw her blade into the beast's eye. At last, the mammoth began to falter. Blood painted the grass. Her steps slowed. Then she stumbled and fell, her great bulk crashing into a muddy ravine. The calf cried out and fled in panic. Victory, but not without cost. 3 hunters were injured. One, Callow, would not wake again.
It will be
Tobu
all right.
rushed to bandage wounds.
We will find
Ruin
our way.
limped toward the carcass and laid a hand on it.
I am so
We feast
afraid.
tonight, he whispered. Yet even as the tribe celebrated, another shadow stirred in the
meat is
grass.
delicious.
A predator
It is the
drawn by
best we've
blood
had.
and death. Watching, the fire crackled inside the cave, casting
meat is
long,
delicious.
flickering shadows on the
It is
stone
the
walls.
best we've had.
Sparks jumped into the air like spirits freed from flesh, vanishing into
meat is
smoke that
delicious.
curled up into
It
the
is the
darkness.
best we've had.
The scent of roasted mammoth meat filled the cavern, warm and heavy. mingling with the damp scent of moss and the tang of blood still clinging to the tribe's hides. Ruin sat cross-legged near the flames, his brow stitched and wrapped, the ache in his side dulled by smoke and exhaustion. Beside him, Kira roasted strips of thick meat on a flat stone, humming a wordless tune older than memory. Around the fire, the others slowly returned to themselves, tending to wounds, whispering about the hunt, mourning Callow in silence. Outside, the wind began to howl. Tobu, the healer's apprentice, stood at the cave mouth, staring into the darkening horizon. His eyes caught flashes in the distance, lightning far off over the grasslands. "A storm is coming," he murmured. Ira rose and joined him. "Do the spirits bring it?" "No," said Tobu. "The land does. It's hungry again." Far across the open plains, the baby mammoth wandered alone, bleeding pitifully. It had followed no tracks. It didn't understand why its mother no longer walked beside it. Grief was not human alone. The calf's cries rose into the night sky, trembling between thunderclaps. But something else heard those cries. A saber-toothed tiger. It had stalked the hunters from afar, drawn first by the chaos of the kill, and then by the scent of spilled blood. Now, its golden eyes fixed on the small mammoth limping under moonlight. It crept forward, low to the ground, tail twitching. The wind masked its scent. The calf looked up too late. With a snarl that split the air, the tiger lunged. Its fangs found flesh. Far away, Ruin felt something, an unease. He stood and stepped toward the cave mouth, scanning the plains now shrouded in silver rain. Thunder rolled. Lightning struck a tree on a far hill, setting it ablaze in a flash of orange and white. And in that firelight, he saw it. The silhouette of the saber-toothed tiger, standing over the calf's carcass. "Kira," he said, voice low, "we're not alone." The tribe stirred. Spears were gripped tighter. A chill seeped into the cave, not from rain, but from something ancient. Primal. A deep growl came from the shadows just beyond the fire's glow. Then came the first glimpse, eyes gleaming in the dark. "It followed us," said Jacko. "That beast, it's come to finish what we started." Rain hammered the ground now, and the fire sputtered from the wind, racing down into the cave's throat. The tiger appeared fully now, soaked, snarling, fangs flashing with each pulse of lightning. Rune stepped forward, holding his spear with both hands. "We fight together," he said. Kira joined him. So did Ira, Dina, Jakku, and Tobu. The cave became a battleground. The tiger leapt, an arc of muscle and fury. The hunters screamed and struck. Spears jabbed, stone blades sliced. The tiger roared and lashed out, tearing into Jakku's leg, sending him collapsing against the stone wall. Blood painted the ground. Dina's blade slashed across the beast's side. It shrieked and turned on her, but Tobu hurled a flaming brand from the fire into its face. It reeled, stumbled, then fled into the storm outside. Silence. Only the sound of rain. Only the soft breathing of those still alive. Ira wept over Jakku, whose face had gone pale. The old man looked at her with fading eyes and smiled. "I saw the sky once," he whispered, "before all this. Then nothing. They buried him at sunrise, beneath a stone mound just outside the cave." The rain had stopped, leaving the plains misty and still. By the fire, the tribe sat together. No one spoke for a long time. Then Rune said, "We survived. Again, but the world is not done with us. We are not at the top. We are only holding on." They nodded. The hunt had fed them. The storm had tested them. The tiger had scarred them. Dawn came slowly over the vast savanna, the morning sun piercing through thin strands of fog like golden spears. Dew clung to every blade of grass. The land was quiet again, not peaceful, never truly peaceful, but still, like the earth itself had paused to breathe. Inside the cave, the fire had died down to faint embers, and the smoke had long since faded into the stone ceiling. The tribe moved slowly that morning. They were sore, bruised, some limping, but they were alive. And for prehistoric people, that was enough. Ruin stood outside the cave entrance, overlooking the plains where so much had happened, where mammoths ran, where blood had been spilled, and where the saber-toothed tiger had vanished into the storm's embrace. His gaze was drawn to the sky. The clouds had broken. The sun warmed his face. The world turned again. Behind him, Kira stepped into the light, wrapped in a pelt. "We can't stay," she said softly. "No," Run replied. "The meat will rot. The water here is too shallow, and the tiger will come back." They both knew that surviving one hunt, one storm, was not enough. They had to keep moving. That was the law of their world. Motion meant life. Stillness meant death. By mid-morning, the tribe had packed their tools, wrapped the meat, gathered sharpened bones and stones, and ready to move. Even those injured, like Tobu with his bandaged leg and Ira with her splinted arm, refused to be left behind. No one stayed. No one was forgotten. The path ahead was uncertain. Beyond the hills, the land sloped into a dry riverbed, flanked by cliffs and thorny trees. Run remembered a hidden stream there and a forest beyond, maybe with fresh game, maybe with roots and berries, and maybe safety, even if temporary. As they walked, silence hung over them, not out of fear, but out of respect. Each step was a memory. Jakku's laugh echoed faintly in the minds of his kin. The young mammoth's cries still haunted the morning wind. Hours passed. The sun climbed high. Buzzards circled in the distance, scavenging what remained of the mammoth carcass far behind them. Eventually, the tribe reached the riverbed. Dry, cracked mud bore the marks of ancient floods. Strange bones stuck out of the clay, creatures older than even their oldest stories. Rune paused there, placing a hand on one of the bones. "We are not the first," he murmured, "and we won't be the last." By dusk, they found water, a narrow stream, winding between smooth stones, glistening under the evening sun. The tribe drank. They bathed. Children splashed in the shallows. For a few minutes, they laughed. Kira collected herbs growing by the shore. Tobu carved symbols into a flat stone, shapes to remember, to pass on. Language not yet formed into words, but full of meaning. That night, they did not make fire. The memory of the tiger still lingered. Instead, they huddled close under trees, wrapped in hides, watching stars blink to life above. Kira whispered stories about the moon, about the spirits of mammoths and trees, about the sky fire that brings both death and renewal. The children listened with wide eyes. Some adults did too. And Rune, he did not sleep. He stood alone at the edge of the trees, spear in hand, eyes scanning the dark, watching for movement, listening for breath. But there was none. Only wind, only stars, only the ancient rhythm of a world turning slowly toward morning. And as the fire returned to the sky, as the light crept once more across the grasslands, Rune smiled faintly. He was still standing. They were still standing. In a world of beasts and storms, that was a triumph. For now, and perhaps forever.